Minor.
Meeting will now come to order. We're going to have a roll call, Mr. Hirsch. Here. Mr. Mann here.
I am present.
Here. Mr. Donner. Here. Mr. Colley. Here. Mr. Burnett. Here. And I'm here. All right, please rise for the pledge of allegiance led by Administrator Mr. Wong.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda was posted throughout the district according to the school board policy, published as a legal ad in Superior Telegram, posted on the district webpage. A meeting notice was sent to WNXR for announcement and the connected publication. Approval of the September 9th, this agenda, September 9th, 2024 agenda. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Before we get going with the consent agenda, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce our two new student reps to the board, Oscar Dans and Francesca Germano. Welcome to the board meeting. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome forward.
Prepare to be riveted.
Don't screw it. Okay, the item 4, the consent agenda, which includes item 4A, August 12th, 2024, regular board meeting minutes, the open and executive session. And B is the treasurer's report, Mr. Leonard.
A summary of the treasurer's report as of August 31st, 2024, general fund. General account on August 31, 2024, there was a balance of $5,790,420.17 in cash and investments. Receipts since the 1st of September are not included in the August 31 balance for $35,047.34. And the disbursements from tonight, September 9th board meeting, total $63,576.07. Flexible spending account on August 31st, 2024, there was a balance of $24,213.32 in cash and investments. In the health reimbursement account on August 31st, 2024, there was a balance of $5,723.55 in cash and investments. In the debt service fund on August 31, 2024, there was a balance of $674.24 in cash and investments. For your review, a more detailed report on fund activity is included in the financial statements via your computer.
Thank you. Item 4C, payment of invoices, and board members hopefully have a chance to talk to Mr. Professor Hunter if you have any questions. Item 4D is resignations and employment. Warren?
Yeah, we had two resignations, Jenny Coleman, a bus driver, and Kelly Jo Randall, a NES paraeducator. And then we have for employment, we have Danica Peterson, part-time NES paraeducator, Emily Freeman, part-time NES paraeducator, Christy Hunter, full-time NES paraeducator, Courtney Stahl, part-time NHS paraeducator, Jennifer Fultz, part-time NES paraeducator, Emily Kavanaugh, NMS lunchroom supervision, and Heather Lundeen, NES lunchroom supervision. I'd like to approve all of these.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Make a motion. I'll make the motion to accept the agenda in this statement.
I'll second. Mr. Colley. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Item 5, approval items. 5A is policy second reading. New purchasing cards, Mr.
Yeah,
I can tackle that one if you
Yeah.
want. So this is the second reading of the policy, purchasing cards, P cards throughout the district. So it is one that we want to get on the books since we're looking to transition to that program. Increase revenues for the district, but also gives us a little more flexibility with the number of cards. And being able to monitor those safely, appropriately, but we can trust our staff. So,
I have a question on that. I should have asked you earlier, Cody. I thought this was something different. On the bottom of that, where it says the purchasing card may never be used for alcohol, personal items, or services, nor as personal means. I'm wondering, because it specifically says alcohol, personal items, should there be tobacco and tobacco-related products added to that? If you're gonna specify the one, should you not specify both?
We certainly can.
I guess I'm just,
I think that's a good idea, just to add that, tobacco and alcohol. So
I mean, it would fall under personal items, I would assume, but I would think alcohol would also fall under that.
I guess I have a follow-up question to that. Yep. Probably didn't catch you before. So reading this policy, I didn't see language in there with regards to what is expected with regard to receipt submittal, approvals, and those types of things. Can you just elaborate what the expectation is there?
So, yeah, this allows our staff to be in purchasing. The biggest reason why I went to this is we're running into some issues with when our staff have to go to hotels, whether it be an advisory ticket, we've done as our sports teams having to head somewhere. When we're checking into hotels, they want the card that we made the reservation. And the reality was that was the card that I had as the district administrator, one as the district administrator, or I had as the business manager. And I wasn't able to adjust the credit limit of that card. And we had some hurdles trying to check people in because hotels are asking for fraud purposes to make sure that nobody's checking in to a hotel with a card that they may not have in possession. So this allows us to get a number of cards, adjust the credit limit to the appropriate level so that if the card is lost or stolen, it isn't a liability of the district of tens of thousands of dollars. It's strictly related to that room check-in, the dollar amounts that are associated with that for on that aspect of things. So that is the main purpose. Now, if a custodian needs to run the popular hardware to buy some emergency stuff because we have a leaky pipe, they will give me a call and say, yeah, go ahead. It's not going to be a large purchase in terms of dollar amounts, get what you need to replace XYZ issue. And then their process is they don't bring back the receipts, and that receipt will get checked into Jenny, and then we go through our typical process later.
Okay, so you answered my question verbally, but does that need to be in the policy?
This policy is strictly, well, the owner is a policy writer, we can adjust this policy as we see fit. So, right, whatever we need to add in here, that's why we bring it back to the second reading. So if we want to put it in written form as the policy, procedures, then we make it clear just what the expectation is from getting receipt to the accounts payable people, so we then can reconcile the bill with regards to the purchases that are made.
The procedures be separate from the policy.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I would recommend we have procedures around expenses separate from, this is the policy that covers how the card is used. A week process.
That's our,
It's
it's a valid.
I'm very much okay with that too. I like the having a procedure that has some accountability there.
No, it's definitely something that we've had a lot of internal conversations on, ultimately as a business manager, make sure that not putting the district at any more risk than anybody else. Also allowing our staff to be able to do some things that will help us just work a little more efficiently when we gotta go other places.
I think having a kind of procedure.
I'm satisfied with it.
Regarding Mr. Landwehr's concern, should we amend the policy then to add tobacco? And if so, does this need another reading?
I think officially, I'd have to bring it back, and it wouldn't take long, we can bring it back to the October meeting. If you want to add that, it's not a problem. What do you think?
We could just cross off alcohol and just have it say,
well, I guess that's why, and the fact that it specifically said that,
yeah,
should you take those items, because, I mean, the only thing that I guess went in my head was that everywhere around here, it's an alcohol and tobacco-free school, it's an alcohol and tobacco-free campus, so
oh, yeah.
if you've got that, should you have those two items on there? I don't think it matters either way. I mean, if somebody buys a pack of heaters, you're gonna go back to it and say, hey, you can't do that.
I guess, to me, alcohol belongs there because that's one of those things that, okay, you're at a conference overnight, you're buying dinner with the card, just make it clear, alcohol's not dinner, if that's a personal item you don't do. You know, tobacco, I don't see anyone seriously thinking that buying tobacco on a school credit card is okay, but I could see someone thinking, I'm in a school function, I'm having dinner, it's appropriate to have a drink with dinner. We're just clarifying that.
Yeah, and we're very clear with people on that one.
Yeah.
These policies are written by legal staff, obviously, that's why we work with you. And we can amend it, we can adjust it.
I mean, it's gonna fall under personal life, so I would expect.
I will have a conversation with my experience. That'll be something I'm gonna need a little more story on.
I only have, and you may have already answered this, and I'm just curious, I guess, more than anything. Does this work as a credit card where you have all of these cards and you make one payment a month, or is it directly tied to our checking account or whatever?
Jenny would be the best person to answer that.
Multiple cards, one bill per month, so I make one payment.
Awesome. So I don't care either way, I just brought it up because.
And maybe we'll have that also in the procedures. That's okay.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion.
did we have?
I'll make a motion to adopt the purchasing agreement.
So let's make the motion. Second, Burnett. Any other discussion on the purchasing cards? Not all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I approve item 5B, authorization on the issuance and establishing parameters for a temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed $2,795,000 pursuant to 67.12881 Wisconsin statutes.
Mr. Fetchner.
Yep. This is pretty much an annual process. This is a short-term borrowing. You've done this process for forever, right, Wendy? Essentially how the funding formula works for us, our bills are fairly consistent from month to month, but our revenues are not. So this process allows us to make sure that we're filling those mean times on the revenue and being able to pay the bills. And then when the revenues do come in, I do want to commend Wendy Scotty. She does an excellent job making sure we're moving that money around in our LGIP account to maximize the interest returns that we get. So trying to offset the dollar amounts that it costs us to borrow this money by increasing the investment returns that we make. So and I will say she does it to the day. So we try to, as best as we can, decrease the amount of interest that we pay. So this number is less than last year's number, which I believe is just over $3 million. The goal is, my long-range goal is to get to a point where we don't have to short-term borrow at all. We have enough cash reserves where we can get through the lean times. That's going to take a few more years to get there.
I'm curious if you can interest rate this with TechWitch?
Not yet. So what this is basically giving the board, giving me permission to work with Ellers to help us solve the legalities that come along with this to get this up to bid. From there, in the October meeting, I will bring hopefully a few options to the board. Last year we had one. I would anticipate, I know interest rates are starting to drop a little bit. I don't know if it's a significant percentage yet, but hopefully it's less than what we paid, which I believe was around 5% last year. That's roughly 1% of that. It's in that range. I apologize, I should look it up before I came in.
If this passes, more conditions.
I will, yes, this is one of those things that we'll bring to the October board, and then we'll have to basically provide a lender. If the board didn't want to do this, I'd say, help me figure out how to pay bills.
Okay, we do need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve. We'll find bids.
Second, by Mr. Crowley. Okay, we roll call vote. So we will have Mr. Hirsch.
Yes.
Mr. Ladner.
Yes.
Mr. Probst.
Yes.
Mr. Crowley.
Yes.
Ms. Burnett.
Yes.
Mr. Barnes.
Yes.
And I will vote yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Motion passed.
I would like to say though, that's kudos to, I mean, that's $300,000
Yep.
less than last year. I mean, that's direct interest money that we get to save.
We're working hard to keep that number going in the right direction.
6 is administrative report, Mr. Moore.
Did we have
Yeah,
academic career planning?
that's.
It's not on the agenda.
Okay.
It's on the paper.
It's on the paper.
Okay. Well, the district academic and career planning, plan is the ACP. Every year we do this as part of the Wisconsin Education for Employment program. CISA-12 kind of oversees this and helps our counselors with this and myself, and we kind of review this every year, and we didn't have any changes to the plan from last year. The one thing we are going to do, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow at the mental health meeting, is just to maybe add maybe quarterly meetings throughout the year, so if something does come up, we will look at making adjustments to that. So, but we are keeping things as is, and we'd like to get this approved for school.
Okay. All right. Let's get that approved. Is there a motion to approve the district career planning plan?
I'll make a motion to approve the career planning plan.
Is there a second to approve the planning plan?
I'll second approving the career planning plan.
I feel like when you have plan, you approve the
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Vote. Now, I understand the administrative report.
All right, so the next one is that,
I can jump in on
Yep.
that one there, Mr. Ward.
lawn care, yep, go ahead, take that one.
So this is just more of an FYI to the board right now. We will have to go out for bid on our lawn care and snow removal. Lawn care, Dolson has done our lawn care for the last 3 years. He is getting out of that, so we have to figure out somebody to mow our lawns starting next spring.
You did a great job.
In terms of that, so I'll be putting that out to bid, trying to get a couple of people to look at the project over the course of September here and bring it to the board in October. So we have that game plan starting when the snow melts, hopefully in April, eventually March, on that. And the other one, Ed
Break
Green,
it up, that is it worth knowing what?
what's that?
Is it worth
Why
knowing?
he's getting out of it altogether. It's doing a side business for them. They did a good job. They're no longer doing it, or at least not a lot of it. So, they've been great to work with.
Many late nights out there.
Yep, they've been great to work with, but I think his exact words were, my wife said she's done, And then the one that's Ed Gruby with Ed Gruby Construction, they plowed our lots for probably 20 plus years, I believe, somewhere in that ballpark range. I don't think I'm on the cat of the bag yet, is going to retire. So we need to figure out how, I think we're going to get some snow this winter, so I have to figure out how we're going to plow our lots. And I had some initial conversations with some people that may be interested, but I've got to make sure that we find the person who has the right equipment to do this job, because it isn't a couple of trucks plowing snow for us. It's just larger equipment. And
This is just this site, right? I remember.
I remember taking care of. Yep, this is I remember Wilson Rock Builders doing a good job for us out there. That brings up to Corey directly. Our 3 lots here at the middle school, or excuse me, the high school, middle school, and then he has to do the project and making sure that they have the equipment to handle our lots and get through our lots. I've met with Ed, we've kind of walked through everything, talking in particular, so I kind of know what the scope is. I should say kind of know I do. I mean, really, he's got 4 really large wheel loaders that he brings in. He starts with about 2 at NES in the middle school, 2 here. It takes about 4 hours, so it starts about 3 in the morning, and our lots really need to be cleared out by no later than 7, because traffic starts rolling pretty heavy at that time. So this is one where we'll have to find the right partner for this.
Yeah, that's a lot of important for a guy.
Yes, I'd be lying to you, I'm a little bit worried about it, but
Did Ed say anything like, if you can't find anybody this year? Because that's Ed's personality too. Well, all right.
I did ask him if he was really sure.
Towns do anything?
So I haven't reached out to the towns. I know the towns' priorities are always going to be the roads, and I know when we go down one snow day, we really sometimes there's no pleasing everybody. And the reality is that I don't think that would be their priority and understandably so. They'll have to probably cover it themselves, so we will. And then a couple people called, we've had some initial conversations with local providers. Making sure they understand kind of the scope of the project, so I will work on these coming weeks, and ultimately by, at least for sure, the snow plowing, we want to make sure that we have that wrapped up by October, because I'd like to think we're not gonna get any snow in November, but we never know. So that's just an FYI, there'll be some work around, buildings and grounds. And also sort of gets a bunch of shovels and say,
Physical education.
Now, item 6B, item 6B is communications received.
Yeah, we got a flyer from the Tiger Education Foundation. They're having their gala on Saturday, October 5th. I believe it's at 5 o'clock at the town hall in Bingham. So we just want to the auditorium. So we just want to make sure that we promote that and let people know about that. So we they have been promoting that the past couple weeks of football games. So I think this is they're off to a good start.
Get online and buy tickets.
Get online and buy tickets. Thank you.
I have a bird in my ear that tells me.
That's it.
Yep, that's it for communication.
Item 6C, budget meeting.
Yep, budget meeting is set for Monday, September 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. We'll be ready to go with that.
in this very room. So format will remain the same. Budget book for the 24-25 school year will be available. So that'll be the time if community members want to ask questions, provide input for the upcoming budget. Technically, it's already started.
Will we get the budget book prior to the meeting?
Typically, no. Typically, it's at the meeting. So
That's also the annual.
that's
Yes.
the annual meeting as well. All that together. So basically, the layout for all that stuff will remain the same as it has been in the past. Budget book, it's, nothing's changing on that front.
Item 6E, the Northwestern High School, Northwestern High School athletics and activities, Northwestern Middle School, Northwestern Elementary School, and River Elementary School special ed reports. Appreciate those. And then the student representative reports. Are you prepared for that, Mr. Hans?
Yeah, we are.
That's boy.
That's right.
Want to stand up for this thing?
Sit there.
Hi. So on Friday, we had our activity fair, so basically signing up for clubs. It sounds like a lot of clubs have a lot of signups. So I know that FFA, we have 47 signups. So I'd say that's more than last year by a bit, which is nice. And then, so for some of our activities that started, drama started today, so they're practicing in the auditorium right now. At least, I think right now, at least we're earlier. And then most clubs will start meeting next week or this week even. And then we also had our vocal group start for choir. So we have chambers and vocal jazz. They had auditions this week, and then I believe they started singing this week too.
We got our first kind of official chamber singers practice in Japanese, so we're getting that rolling too. More athletically, so our football team right now we're 2-1. We started off the season on the new turf field with a loss to Prescott, and then bounced back to the Somerset in the conference play against Spooner. Cross country started 2 weeks ago. While their first meet, they started in Ashland, and then we went to Spirit last week. So far the boys have taken 3rd and 4th. We're down a couple runners, so they've had some pretty still positive starts. We're losing a couple members. We also had sophomore Sophie Navarro. She won the Ashland meet, so she's off to a good start this year. Girls golf, Francesca could probably talk a little bit better about this than me, but they have a meet tomorrow at Bond, so that'll be a whole meet for them. And they also won their match in Chautauqua, so they're off to a busy start. I know they're pretty busy with the start of the school year. Volleyball had a loss to Superior. That was kind of their first official play, but they held a scrimmage at high school before this summer. And then right now the C team and JV team is down in Hayward. And tomorrow they have a triangular home match and then it's at Christian teams. So that'll be all 3 levels playing.
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
We're ready to start.
Mr. Larry, was also gonna talk about, Wisconsin Act 20, reading requirements, so.
Yeah. So I just asked if they'll get an update from the elementary level. You may recall, Act 20 is something that got passed last year, and it gives some requirements for what teachers' trainings need to look like, and a little bit of change in assessment. So if you happen to have elementary kids, you've gotten some information from me about that. What that will mean is at the elementary level, our teachers are going to undergo some training with Mrs. Walsh as our lead teacher. She went through a training for a program called Keys for Literacy, which is going to teach a little bit about how to approach reading with kind of a new lens on how we take it from basic letter sounds and recognition all the way through reading more complex texts. Again, Mrs. Walsh has gone through that training, and now we're going to bring that back to us. On the assessment side, I've shown all kinds of different information about how our kids do throughout the year. Well, one of the things that the state is requiring is that at the 4K through 3rd grade level, now we have a screener, if you will, or an assessment that all kids in the state of Wisconsin take. We're familiar with the forward exam from older grades. This is not something for our younger kids. Anybody that was in education years ago, we had PALS, which was a universal assessment. It's kind of bringing that back to the elementary level. So our teachers are going to get trained on that in the coming probably 2 weeks. And then we'll give our initial screening in the beginning of October for that assessment. So it's a little bit of a, I guess, change, if you will, to another venue. But it is very similar with the platform that our teachers have used at elementary level. And again, it's one of those things that the state said, thou shall, and we said, okay, we will. And our teachers have been great with it. They've been willing to accept that this is what we have to do. And hopefully we'll go through it, the learning process, and come up the other end with better teachers, and our kids will do that. Any questions? If you think of anything or things come up, feel free to ask. It's going to be a learning process, and those of us that have been around for a while have gone through this before. Our teachers will be great. Thank you for your time.
I want to give a lot of props to all of our administrators here. They've started the school year out with a great year. The programs are running real smoothly, and we've got a great staff, and it's been a good start to the year. So.
Can I, one more thing?
Yes.
Oscar forgot to mention something in his report, that he represented Northwestern as one of, 2 kids in the state of Wisconsin who went to Washington DC in July for the Badger Boy State. Left that out. I think out of 750 possible candidates, he was picked as 1 or 2.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Been a good experience on that.
Okay, well, item 6E, WSB Fall Region 1 meeting.
Yeah, the fall region meeting is Tuesday, October 15th, at the Steakhouse Lodge in Hayward. Should be a good night, and we can carpool down there again like we did last year, and just meet here and then drive the van down. So I think last year was at the Schwab.
Yeah, this year's
they're
having a nice. Item 6F, the district maintenance update, has been shared with us electronically. If anyone has any other questions or
Nope. You guys have it's fairly typical stuff this time of year at the buildings, obviously. We've got through so much, so cleaning schedules, they're open, we're here, we're running. A lot of inspection stuff that happens this time of year, around fire systems and things of that nature. Roof inspections, try to see how the repairs we got to make there and those pieces. So fairly standard stuff.
Okay, 6G, WSB correspondence and legislative update, Mr. Cohen.
Okay, well, it's still a little quiet down in Madison as far as legislation goes, but a couple things I found. The 120 school districts in Wisconsin have put referendum questions on the November ballot, which is roughly a fourth of the school districts in the state. It isn't a good sign for the state in general. Dane County judge ruled that Governor Tony Evers properly used his partial veto authority in mixing parts of a GOP authorized reading bill related to Act 10 funding, basically allowing more flexibility in how funds are used. And the other thing, new DPI data shows Wisconsin students continue to face a mental health crisis. According to the survey, 59% of high school students said they have experienced at least one mental health challenge over the last 12 months. That's all I got.
120 referendums and events, pretty disturbing.
Did it say what the breakdown was out of that 120, whether it was operational or
I didn't,
capital?
they probably did, but I didn't pay attention, sorry.
A lot of operations.
Yes.
Recurring operational.
Not recurring, but, well, like 4-year. How it would go. Some people go 3 years, some just 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Item 6A, receipt 12 for Mr. Black.
Okay, from our August meeting, CISA 12 staff has been busy involved with training throughout the state and country through professional development. They had summer pack meetings with the superintendents. We went over CISA 12's strategic plan with Dr. Madison, a nice flow chart to measure each employee over the years, how they get everybody caught up. Building update, they had a little bit of a sewer problem, so they had to actually cut the concrete out where the sewer pipe exited the building. It was under the building, or they had to back up, so they cut concrete out and replaced a bunch of pipes. So their maintenance budget is shot. But the guy sounds like it's all running better. I guess it was part of mess. Anyways, we approved Dr. Madison's evaluation. The consensus was he's doing a great job for CISA 12. Native American education in CISA 12. CISA 12 is working to facilitate working with school districts, tribal leaders, and educators. They have had 2 meetings with Red Cliff and LCO, with a meeting scheduled in November at Bad River. And our next meeting is September 17th.
Thank you. Item 6I, donations. Mr. Clark.
Yeah, the school district of Maple would like to give some recognition to some people. Mr. Steve Marifka for his generous donation of school supplies to the Iron River Elementary School in the name of his mother, Mrs. Athea Marifka, who is a longtime teacher in the Milwaukee area. Is it Jean or Jenny Holtman? Jean Holtman for a donation of school supplies to the Iron River School District, or Iron River Elementary School, excuse me. Bonnie Carlson for her donation of various school supplies to NES and NMS. Ms. Nancy Clark, Superior, for her generous donation of glass for Northwestern High School stained glass class that will be used to create mosaics and traditional glass pieces. So thank you to all those people for those generous donations.
Item 6J, student staff community recognition.
Just wanted to touch base. We had the Central Health was here on the first opening football game for their donation for the football field. We also would like to say thanks to Tom Shapansky of the WIA, assistant director, for making the trip up for that night. I thought that was really nice of him, and just want to say it's great to see all the students back in their buildings and happy faces to be back with their friends and teachers and that. So.
Did you hear about Oscar?
I did hear about Oscar.
Item 6K, community student and staff recognition. Okay, so this concludes our business portion of not reading anymore, but since item 7 is comment from the audience. Does any